Welcome back to another episode of What's Your Mount Rushmore. This is a podcast where we pick our top four all-time favorites of really anything and everything, and we cover a lot of topics. Some are going to be crazy, some are going to be more mainstream, some are going to be very specific, and this is going to be a great episode. I'm one of the hosts. I'm Mark Duvel.
And I'm John Hansen. And yes, absolutely excited about this topic today. Our podcast, this episode is all about fast food restaurants. Something you and I both know. We know them very well. I think all of our listeners know them well too.
Far too well.
Yeah, too well. Okay. I'm sure there's stories
far
there.
Too well.
But yeah, I mean they're part of the fabric of American life, and especially people like us. I think I grew up going to fast food restaurants. I'm sure you did too.
100%. I mean, we're introduced to all of these mostly when we're young, and certainly one of them on my list is it kind of is just my childhood, and it'll be kind of obvious. But
yeah,
I'll let you kick this one off. Let's
do it.
What's on the Mount Rushmore of what restaurant gave you the shits?
Yes, that's pretty much how this list is going to go. So the first pick, as you will, is Taco Bell. Speaking of, well, let's just leave it at that.
Bump set spike.
Exactly. Taco Bell is a fast food restaurant that to this day I still do visit. I do like it. I like it a lot. It's part of my childhood. As a matter of fact, little quick story. When I was in high school, we had a Taco Bell restaurant, and you know the one, Brooklyn Boulevard. It's only about 2 miles from my high school. It's actually less than 2 miles from my high school. And at lunch, we were allowed to leave school at lunch. So we'd pile into our cars. Yep. We'd pile into our cars and we would drive to Taco Bell. And here's the thing is there was about maybe 8 or 10 carloads of us, kids driving to Taco Bell, and you only had a short window of time. So we literally raced to Taco Bell because if you got there after all those 8 or 9 other cars were there, you were waiting in a long line. Yeah, you had to eat really fast and then race back to school. But if you were the first one in line, yeah, you get your food, you can kick back and bullshit for a while, watch all the other people in line, make fun of them because you beat them to Taco Bell. And we had like 5 or 6 kids per car and like 8, 9 cars. It was literally a race to Taco Bell every day. So it's a big part of my high school years. Taco Bell is always going to have a special place with me for that.
Big part of my high school memories as well. But honestly, not because of lunch, which is strange because it literally was the closest restaurant, one of the closest restaurants to my high school. But my high school life associates going there more after hours on Friday and Saturday nights, whatever we'd be up to. We would hit Taco Bell, and so I've ate there thousands of times, and it's so gross. It's great, and I know not everyone will agree with that, but it's good. I see why you threw it on your Mount Rushmore.
Did you end up at Taco Bell towards the end of the night, or was it more the way you started your nights? Or both?
It was the end of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, but again, we clearly kicked off referring back to what gave you the shits. Boy, you came out strong with your first pick.
Boom, right there.
That's bullseye.
That's
Shots
bullseye.
Fired, bullseye hit.
Yes.
So,
right.
You know what? I'm gonna jump then, just because while we're on the low hanging fruit of our humor right now. I'll go to my version of that, but is a much newer, more sophisticated version. Chipotle. Now, Now for me, and for you, for the listener that's tuning in right now, John and I know each other. We met each other in the mid '90s, and we worked in radio together. And there's a reason I'm bringing this up. It's where and how I was introduced to Chipotle, because it's when it came to the Minneapolis, Twin City area.
Yeah.
And we had the luxury and the benefit where I don't remember his last name, but the marketing dude for Chipotle was named Phil. And Phil would come to the radio station, and he was totally just over the top, nice, kick-ass, very friendly guy. And I'll never forget him handing me what I thought was a deck of cards, like in a box, because they
Yeah.
look like playing cards,
Sure.
52, in this little box. And he'd like, there you go, enjoy, buddy. And I'm like, what is it? Chipotle? What are you
Yeah,
from?
we didn't even know how to pronounce it, right? At the
Chipotle?
time. Yeah.
Like, and then eventually he would leave, and I opened for my this is literally my first introduction to Chipotle. I opened the little deck of cards he opened, or that he gave me, and I realized that each card is a free burrito at Chipotle.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it became a thing. And the thing is this guy Phil, God, you're an angel. He would show up, I swear, every few weeks with these, and he'd just hand decks of not a little coupon for a Chipotle,
Yeah.
decks of cart. That's 52 burritos. So
Yeah.
we would we worked in the marketing department. We'd just call one of the youngsters over into the office and go, "We're going to need you to take an office order for Chipotle," and we'd keep it usually like marketing and promotions with like programming, because that's where we were kind of blended in as far like at the studios, how our offices were set up. And they'd go around, and we'd be ordering like 15
Oh, great.
burritos, and these
Those
poor
times. Good
interns and
times.
assistants of ours, they'd take you, just give them a deck of cart, here you go, how many do you need? So it became this, Chipotle was at your fingertips. And
Yes.
what better way, like, again, it's one, and not to mention, I've grown and did then, I do now. I love Chipotle. Oh, it's like comfort food, man.
Yeah.
And Mr. Phil, again, I wish I remembered his last name, but Phil, damn you, man. Uh, I could sure use you in, like, what
Yeah.
a resource to just have you pull out your desk drawer and there's 52 burritos. You can do whatever you want with, and especially when it's taking care of your staff and the people that are working around you. So
You were the king of lunch in the office.
well, yeah, and it became a thing. Like, it really was a special day when we'd just send droves, multiple vehicles of, go get everybody Chipotle.
They
So
couldn't.
right,
They couldn't fit. How many burritos could they fit in one car? Why did they have to take multiple
well,
cars?
you should have seen my orders, man. Who?
Yeah, those crazy times, man.
But so right out of the gate, we both went with some Mexican flair. Just you went with
Yeah.
the,
Well,
the diarrhea version, and I went with a little better version.
the sophisticated diarrhea.
Sophisticated trots.
Diarrhea with a flair.
All right, so we both got one on the board. It's both, good food, and I think we're going to probably go in multiple directions here as we, whittle through our top remaining three here.
And you certainly use the term Mexican loosely with those two. They're not exactly Mexican food, to be honest with you. But it's,
yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so close enough anyway.
Shove that up your ass.
With my next pick, so all four of my picks cover different genres of food. So I had the we'll call it Mexican, sure, tacos anyway at Taco Bell to start off. My next one is a burger joint. It's my favorite burger joint. It's In-N-Out Burger. I think these are absolutely amazing burgers as far as fast food goes. Far more elevated than your standard Burger King, McDonald's type burgers. It's a fresher ingredient. It's probably the best burger you can buy from a fast food restaurant. I don't mind Culver's. People talk about Culver's burgers all the time. Those are good.
Sure.
I do prefer In-N-Out to Culver's. In-N-Out is very prevalent where I live here in the Southwest and in the West Coast, but I know they're not too common in the Midwest, if at all. But if you're ever out in Arizona, where I live, or California, you got to hit up an In-N-Out. It's kind of one of those rite of passages. And the other interesting one quick thing there. The other interesting thing about In-N-Out is they have a secret menu. A lot of people don't know that. They have a secret menu that's not listed in the restaurants. You go there and you can order something using specific phrases, and you get add-ons with your meal. There's about 10 or 12
secrets. Secrets are no fun. Secrets
Exactly.
hurt someone.
Secrets in a bun. There's like 10 or 12 different options, though. So when you go to In-N-Out, you have to know the secret menu to take full advantage of it.
See, now, I had a feeling you were going to blurt out this In-N-Out stuff. And So yes, you are right. You are a Minneapolis raised fella, and now you do live in the
Fool.
Southwest. So I know once you went west, you were going to see your In-N-Out burgers. And when you are from the Midwest, you're always told if you go to the West Coast, you got to have an In-N-Out burger. Now I've been there only once in my life in Vegas, and I liked it a lot. But and this is not to poop on the parade.
It
I
gave you the
just don't
trots.
I no, well, probably, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm all in on the hype of how good In-N-Out is. I only had it once, so you know how that goes. You can go
Yeah.
to a good place. You can go to a good steakhouse and leave there like pissed off. I liked it. I just didn't get the hype. But
Yeah.
I do.
You
But
need
I
to
just
try it
knew
again.
you were going to say it because you've probably ate at In-N-Out now several times since living on the west
Oh,
side of the
the world.
continent. Um, but it is everybody talks about In-N-Out burgers. So
It has a fresher taste. The ingredients are just fresher than
yeah,
the things that are slapped together at some of the other burger,
sure.
shit.
Well, it's a good burger joint, but again, I got to stick with what I know, and it'd be lame if let's say I really loved it. I've been there once. See, I can't eat somewhere once
No,
and
no, no,
put
no.
it
You got it.
on a Mount Rushmore.
No.
So I'd be a poser if my answer would have been In-N-Out, but I will then jump into my second pick. It's also a burger joint. I'm going to leave this one out there because it to me it was always it's kind of that version here, and it's Wendy's. And
Where's the beef?
where's the beef? Clearly, a whole nother reason of why you should love it is that commercial.
Yeah, good marketing.
But I just there's something about it, and it feels whether it is or not, it always seems more freshly made. It has its own. A burger is from Wendy's, and it's big salty fries. The
Mhm.
the little frosty.
Yeah, I love the
You
Frosties.
you get a big cheeseburger, fries, and a frosty. You can't go wrong with that. So my first burger place I'm going to throw on Mount Rushmore behind Chipotle will be Wendy's for me.
That's a good one. People dip the fries in the Frosties. Have you heard of that
Exactly.
thing?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't tried that before, but to each their
The
own.
whole
I mean,
salt
I
and
guess if it
sweet, the
works.
whole salt and sweet vibe. That's where
Yeah.
that's coming from.
Why don't you just pour it on your
Um,
burger then?
that's getting a little weird. Then you belong in a padded room. If you're pouring milkshakes on your burger, you need to. Yeah, that's a different podcast, and I believe it comes with a helpline.
Yes. Well, it won't be
So-
long before this podcast will have a helpline too.
Already, it's flashing on my screen as we speak.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I can't fault you for Wendy's. That's actually not bad. I like Wendy's too.
Love Wendy's.
They've always had good marketing too. Dave Thomas, rest in peace.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Wendy's is that's a solid one for me. So I'm on the board with two. What's your next one there, Bruno?
well, so I went. So like I said, I'm switching things up with each pick. I'm going the chicken route with my third one. There's a lot of talk about the best chicken sandwiches. People say Chick-fil-A, KFC, Popeyes. There's a couple others out there. I think Raising Cane's has better chicken than all of those.
I
Raising
love it.
Cane's.
Here's what I love.
Go ahead. Before I explain my pick, go ahead and bash it.
Wow.
Get it out. You're dying to bash me.
Even if you try, I'll keep interrupting you. that pick is trash. That's trash. Like it makes me like. Have you had good chicken? And here's what I mean by that.
I'm
they're
not talking
sandwiched.
about like I'm talking. This is fast food here. All right.
I know that, but fast food shouldn't involve microwaves, and that's what their chicken fingers. That's mostly what they're known for. It ain't a fucking sandwich. It's their chicken fingers.
Well,
And
you can
my
get
son
sandwiches
loves
there.
this place, and I don't understand it. And I try to change his mind, but their chicken fingers taste like they came out of a microwave.
Well,
Not
it's
not that they were fried in deep grease.
I didn't need to. I didn't need you to tell me that today, but now I have proof, though, that your son is already smarter than you are. So we have that much going for us. Way to go,
The bar was
Sonny.
never set high though, so the bar was never high.
Let me just say this: fast food chicken in general. I mean, Arby's has a chicken that's subpar. Probably there's none of them are really all that great. Okay, so
Yep.
the reason why I do like Raising Cane's is that sauce. It's like crack. I don't know. I don't even know what it's made out of. It's kind of a mayo mixture with maybe kind of a seasoning. It's the sauce
It's
that
like
makes
a
it.
bunch of sauces mixed together, and then they call it their sauce.
I could well, whatever
Gotta
they
be what
call
it
it,
is.
whatever they call it, it works. And I mean, you could dip a day old taco in that sauce, and I'd probably still eat it.
Oh, hell no!
That's what it comes down to for me anyway, the sauce. So say
My
what you will
God.
about everything else. I mean, again, I dip the fries in the sauce. I dip the chicken in the sauce. It's good
It's
shit.
what I love about what we're doing, because it's opinions, and there's no right or wrong answers except for that one, of course. But
Yep. And your son, of course, is always right.
but hey, it's your Mount Rushmore. I'm not driving to look at that one.
Yeah, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
So, all right. Well, I'll get us back on track with a good meal. And my third pick for my Mount Rushmore is something that really established its place on my Mount Rushmore like the second half of my life, leading up to this very day, is Jimmy's John's. And I love a good sandwich, and I've had them all. I've had all the different variations. There's a lot of good ones out there, but the most consistent one, and they're freaky fast, is Jimmy John's. You can't lose. You go with
you can
number
with Jimmy John's.
You don't like this pick? Are you seriously not?
If I'm going to rank sub shops, I'm probably going to have them at third. I would say maybe.
What? Who's before Jimmy John's in the sandwich world?
There's two that I like better. I like Firehouse subs better, and the one that I would probably put at the top is Jersey Mike's. I think those are the Jersey Mike's in particular. It's just a better taste. The thing about Jimmy John's, the bread always kind of has that feel like somebody sat on it before they served it to you. It's just a squished down. And
I sit on it before I eat it.
Oh, maybe you're the one serving that to me.
Warm buns for everybody.
I don't know.
Warm buns for everybody.
The turkey kind of tastes like the tuna. The pepperoni kind of tastes like the ham. It's just sort of a
holy smokes. You're talking Subway. That's Subway's
problem.
Well,
Subway's not on my Mount Rushmore either. I wouldn't put that up there for sure. They're not even probably not even on my Mount Rushmore of sub shops, Subway. But
no, not at all.
I mean, I'll have a Jimmy John's once in a while. It's just not going to make my list. Have you had Jersey Mike's? I definitely prefer that one.
I've had all. I've had Firehouse. I've had Jersey Mike's. I've had Herbert and Gerbert's. I've had Potbelly. Potbelly's good too, but Potbelly I can't almost consider fast food, because at least the one that I would have to go to, it's a pain in the ass to get to and go to and park and get in there. I want to get in and out. Hence fast food for crying out loud.
About that, yeah. How about Blimpies? What was the other one? Schlotzsky's? Was that one back in the day? Is that even still a thing?
Schlotzsky's.
You ever heard of that one?
That one, no. It sounds like it should have gone away.
It did. Well, most of them did.
No,
somebody out there, our one listener has probably heard of Schlotzsky's.
I'm blessed to not have the memory of Schlotzsky's.
Blessed indeed.
All right, so Jimmy's John's.
What's your favorite Jimmy's John's sandwich? I do like the commercials with Brad Garrett. I think Brad Garrett's hilarious, so I do like those.
And Jimmy's John's.
Yes, exactly.
I can't ever call it its normal name again, so I hope they might as well just change the name at this point. Yeah. My favorite is the number 9. It's like all the Italian meats.
Okay.
With the vinaigrette and that with a bag of barbecue specifically. And this plays into it too, by the way. Jimmy John's makes their own branded chips, and they're amazing, especially barbecue. So it's always that, which clearly...
Well, fine, you got me. The chips then. All right. Now I'm sold.
Hey, what's faster than chips?
No, wait, well, I'm talking about fast food. You're right. And so you got to have a good bag of chips is important with a sandwich. You're right. That makes sense.
And again, the part of why they made my Mount Rushmore, but I'll crowbar this in and then we'll get the hell out of this topic of Jimmy John's. They are freaky fast, and they are incredibly convenient. And again, when you have a kid that seems to have something going every night, and especially in spring and summer, and you just need a quick thing, you call on the app, boop, Jimmy John's, and I swear to God, they're ringing your doorbell in 7 minutes. They are freaky fast.
Jimmy's there, huh?
Jimmy's.
James. All right. So who's next? Me then?
That's you now. Back at you. Let's hear
Back
your.
to me. Well, I'm gonna go again outside. So we got the tacos, burger, chicken. We got to have some dessert, ice cream, Dairy Queen.
Dairy
Dairy Queen
Queen.
is obviously you and I are both native Minnesotans. Dairy Queen is a Minnesota company. So you kind of have to like Dairy
Yeah.
Queen growing up in Minnesota. Personally, I grew up about 3 blocks from a Dairy Queen. I could walk there, ride my bike there, go there with my parents all the time. So lots of deep childhood memories going back to being just a little tyke, going down to Dairy Queen. So that was an easy one for me to put on my Mount Rushmore. You may not always think of that as a fast food joint. They obviously do have burgers and other food.
Yeah, they got
I
a
don't
full menu
necessarily
at this point.
They do. I don't necessarily go there for their burgers, although they're not terrible. The sandwiches and things aren't terrible. I'm there for the ice cream. I'm there for the malts, the shakes, the peanut butter parfait, whatever.
But I do think you're right, though, that if you grew up in the Twin Cities, Dairy Queen it's special to us because especially like if you played youth sports, if you like you're when you're in Little League, if you played baseball, coach says, "Hey, everyone, we're going to Dairy Queen after the game." That's a big deal.
Yep.
And it's one of those restaurants you totally associate with being a kid. And it's kind of fun to relive it because you referenced my son earlier. He loves Dairy Queen. Who doesn't? It's especially when they introduced the Blizzard years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Game changer, the Blizzard. So that is this is your first pick where I honestly can't trash it. I mean, it's Dairy Queen. That's a great pick. It's not on my Mount Rushmore, but there's an argument to be made that it certainly could have been. So good pick, Dairy Queen.
Yeah. And as we all know, it is DQ. That's what I always call it, DQ.
DQ.
I don't know if they call it DQ around the country or not, but we certainly did in Minnesota.
Well, and two, like you said, you grew up. When there's one that close to you as a kid, clearly that's how that plays a part in how it got on your top 4.
Absolutely, walking distance.
Well, I'll cap this off. I'll give you my fourth and final. In this, I kind of saved this one for last because it is the number 1 spot for me. It's going to be very cliche. It's going to be very obvious, but it's the one restaurant in the history of me being around. I've
Taco
ate here
John's.
more than. No, how dare you? How dare you interrupt my McDonald's speech?
Oh,
McDonald's. Taco John's.
That makes a lot more sense.
So McDonald's is clearly on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
I got to assume most people are going to put McDonald's on their fast food Mount Rushmore. But for me, talk about what makes you go back to being a kid is, and I mean that when I say, I guarantee you, it's not even something I would have to think about. I've ate more meals at McDonald's than any other place on planet Earth. And here's the thing, and I, honest to God, even though I don't clearly look it, I really don't eat there much anymore because the older I became, I kind of realized how it's not very good for you. No matter how much I love it, I do try to stay away from it. But it is, that being said, I have not been there in a long time, and it's still my number 1 on my Mount Rushmore. And I can associate so many things, and I have to. One of my favorite memories is my teenage years. I grew up pretty close to a McDonald's. And me and several of my buddies, and usually the same core kind of group, we would go to McDonald's an awful lot. So much that for, I swear, like a 10 to 15 year window, I automatically just knew I'd order a number 2 with a Coke. I knew it would be $3.18 at that time. To show you, I don't know what a number 2 with a Coke would cost now.
A hell of a lot more.
I plan to keep it that way, but we ate there so much that we even would eat inside the McDonald's. And what became such a cool movie scene for me was in the movie Billy Madison with Sandler. It's not at a McDonald's, but he's with his drunk buddies, and they're outside at a picnic table, and they open up their hamburgers, grab the slice of pickle, and they whip it against the window, and they like race to see which one slides down the window first. We did that to the point where I don't know how they would let us back in, because if we came into the building, we'd leave and there's going to be pickles on the windows every single time. And there was really kind of 2 of them, because there was one by our high school and one by where I grew up by my house. But McDonald's it's McDonald's. I mean, I hate this background story of it after watching that movie, The Founder. It made me really feel bad for the McDonald brothers who got jobbed on opening the most successful restaurant in the history of mankind.
Yeah.
And Ray Kroc completely folded them in half and just took what was theirs and made it the big empire that we know it as today. But again, it's not the best of food, but it's McDonald's and it's everywhere.
It's iconic. I mean, it's the iconic American fast food restaurant. There's no doubt about. I mean, they may not have been the very first people to do that style of fast food, but they're the ones that perfected it early on, and they're the ones that made it nationwide.
And again, marketing. My God, you can't watch one commercial break almost on any network, and you will most likely see a McDonald's commercial.
Oh yeah,
but
and
now
everybody knows
global.
The jingles. Yeah,
I wish. I mean, I don't know how many they have. It'd be interesting to know how many McDonald's restaurants exist on this planet, all across the globe.
Well, I don't know the number, but I know it's more than any other restaurant. They are the number one, well, I believe they are. I'm not going to say that for a fact, but I'm pretty sure they are. I know there's a ton of Subways. Subways aren't on our list, but I know there's Subways on every corner. It seems like, but there's a lot of McDonald's. I agree with most of what you said, and actually, one of the things that I really love about McDonald's are their Shamrock shakes. And I talked to you about this the other day. I finally did get one last night, so I've had my first and maybe my only Shamrock shake for the season. I always got to at least have one. But the only reason that I did not have them on my Mount Rushmore is, and like you, I don't eat it very often. But sometimes the next day I'm like, did I really need that? I mean, I'm not saying it gave me the shits or anything, but sometimes it did. But that's not. I'm saying that it's like you get that like fast food guilt. Did I really need those calories? Then again, I could have that guilt about everyone on both of our lists. To be honest with you, they're all, none of them are health food. But that's probably the only reason I left it off my list. Yeah, I just I don't know. Sometimes I second guess my fast food decisions.
So your own guilt is what kept McDonald's off your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah,
you're not to be trusted around a McDonald's.
My own guilt, and I'm not even Catholic. How about that? Go figure.
You're cutting deep.
Yeah. I don't even have that as an excuse.
I know my answer is McDonald's. I know it might be cliche and very common, but for that very reason, it deserves it. It's McDonald's. Yeah. Like how crazy though that it used to. Number 2 used to be $3.18. That's a real number. Yeah. Anyone can fact check me on that.
I don't want to, but I'll believe you. But
I ordered it so many times. I know what it cost. I'm not kidding. Like that was.
No, they were. Every fast food joint, you could get one of those meals. When I was talking about Taco Bell, going and getting tacos, I think we probably could get, 2 or 3 tacos and a Coke for $3 or less. Back in those days. Yeah. I mean, it was it's outrageous what they charge now. But
back in the day, we didn't pay these ridiculous prices.
I used to have to ride my horse down to the local burger joint. All right. We're old. Okay. Get it.
We are old. That is our Mount Rushmore of fast food.
Yeah.
Again, please, because especially on a topic like this, there's so many things to choose from. Again, it is hard, especially fast food. Everybody eats it. Everybody has. Everybody will. And it's hard to get down to 4 choices that represent your favorite places to eat when you need a quick meal. And and I do like it. There was a variety here. I actually am amazed, and I mean this, that we did not match any of our answers. That shows you how broad this topic can be. And so please chime in on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube. Our handle is at What's Your Mount Rushmore, and spell out Mount. Don't get lazy and type MT. It's at What's Your Mount Rushmore, and give us your feedback. What are your places? What makes you feel like a kid again? What did you eat a ton of when you were little and growing up that clearly leaves impressions on you? And you'll probably even pick that up throughout this podcast. I feel like of all the ones we've now already done, we do reference our childhood an awful lot. Why? It's what actually, it's when you start forming your opinions. and you know they're real. If then when you're grown ass old, shit sacks like us, and we still are referencing things we did 30, 40, dare I say 40 plus years ago. And here we are putting these different types of topics on our Mount Rushmore. And again, that's what's going to be fun moving forward is we really plan to cover anything and everything. Some are very specific, some will not be. And I love doing it because, again, everyone has opinions and everyone now has a platform to at least engage, be a part of it with us because we're having fun talking like this.
It's true. We want to hear from our listeners. Tell us what we did right, what we did wrong. And you know what? Hell, give us some ideas for future episodes. Why not? We'll take it. I mean, we might ignore them, but you can at least tell us.
Yeah.
But
it is the more the merrier. Something you might want to hear us talk about because you might have a pretty rock solid Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
So again, look forward to our next topic on our on the next go around. In the meantime, I do want to thank our sponsor for this episode. It's Sam Goody.